Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Start at ETS. It's great to have you all here. My name is Erin Otan. I'm Zpryme's Director of Research and Content, and I'm excited to introduce today's event. Just a few housekeeping notes. We'll be starting things off today with a conversation between Zpryme CEO Jason Rodriguez and Smart Energy Water CEO Deepak Garg. Then we've got a great panel on equity, followed by the startup pitches. We'll hear from last year's Startup ETS winner and CPS Energy, and we'll have a virtual reality demo from Frolic, Zpryme's XR brand. And then we'll finish things off with the announcement of today's winner. So we've got a great lineup for you. We're really excited. Remember, you can interact with each other by using the chat function in Zoom. I think most of us are pretty familiar with Zoom these days. Feel free to ask questions and just interact with each other. We want this to be a very engaging day for you all. Okay, so if you're familiar with Zpryme, you know that we're really focused on the transitions happening today in the energy industry, the move towards digitalization, decarbonization, and decentralization. But the transitions wouldn't be happening without innovators in the field. So that's really what Start at ETS is celebrating and championing, these innovative minds pushing the industry forward. So I'm here with Jason Rodriguez, Zpryme's CEO. Jason's going to give a short talk with Deepak in just a minute, but Jason, I first have a question for you. What is one memory or highlight that comes to mind when you think about Start at ETS? This is our fourth event.
Yeah, so great question. And hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. We're very excited to kick off Start at ETS and have a lot of excitement. So actually, it's a very funny story, and you're kind of involved. This was the first Start at ETS in 2016. So somehow, my co-founder, Mark, is convinced BMW to lend us two of their latest models. I cannot remember the types, but it was two tiny cars. So we had the idea of let's back the cars into the venue. The problem was, I think the opening was only maybe 20 feet, probably not even that. And so what I remember is a few people spend like 30 minutes trying to figure out how to get this car in safely that BMW loaned us, basically on the good faith that, we're going to take care of their vehicle. So after several tries amongst our team, we actually turned it over to our chief media guy, Stefan Trivanov, who knowing Stefan going back to college, he definitely has some unique driving skills. I'll just put it that way. Long story short, it took him about 60 seconds to get it in, but it was a very tense situation, as you probably remember. That's it. That's one memory that sticks out. But also from that first one, just another great memory is one of the top 5 from that one was actually a high school team, and they were trying to develop technology. There was a high school team out of Colorado to help disabled people try to create some new motion sensing devices using some of the early sensors I think from the brain. I can't remember, but that was really interesting. I think that just opened my mind to the whole concept of innovation and why it's so important in this industry.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I was definitely not going to be the one to scrape up an expensive BMW car, so I gladly handed the keys over to Stefan, although that was my first time driving an electric vehicle, and I think that's really what got me, made me the EV enthusiast that I am today. For me, I would say my memory is also from that first Start at ETS event. We had a gentleman named Chris Hoffman from his company Rhino Motors, and he had what was essentially a one-wheeled motorcycle. And I remember thinking, that looks cool and fun, but I don't know if that's really practical. And fast forward about 4.5 years, and now there's electric unicycles and one-wheel skateboards and e-scooters all over downtown Austin. And I'm personally a big proponent of micromobility. So, but that's an example of the kind of people that we like to bring to start. And like you mentioned, the high school team, Jason, but those people that are really forward looking. So that is what today is all about. We're going to get into the program now. I'm going to turn things over to you, Jason, and please welcome Deepak Garg, the CEO of Smart Energy Water. Jason and Deepak, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Aaron. Good morning, Deepak. How are you this morning?
Pretty good morning, everybody, and Jason. Always good to see you, Jason, and now everybody on the call.
Thank you, Deepak. I appreciate you coming on to spend a few minutes in this opening session to talk about the state of innovation and sharing a little bit about the SEW journey. And the theme of this event is new beginnings, which has so many different meanings today, whether that's whether people are starting a new job, they're starting a new company, there's a new administration. Some of the events of the past year really speak to this new beginning, this new renaissance in this industry. But for a startup, that is a very different journey, and it's a very challenging one. So I just wanted to spend some time with you here today, just to pick your brain a little bit and maybe give some advice to those really contemplating if they want to start down that innovation path. Now, obviously, you know, SEW has a great story, and you guys have been growing globally over the past 2 or 3 years. But as with any startup, that's the start is never it's never that easy. And I think if it was, I think a lot more people will be doing it. But another reason we're championing of this event is because it is so difficult to really just get that initial momentum to sustain long-term growth. And that at the heart is what we're trying to do with bringing together leading utilities with emerging innovators. So with that, Deepak, I just want to ask, like, how did the original concept for SEW get started? You know, were you working? Did you have a partner? Did you have an idea? Can you just walk us through that briefly?
Yeah, thank you, Jason. I just want to start with, before I talk about how we started, we know that we talk this land as a American dream. We talk about land of opportunity. We talk about the world of startups. And I think anybody look the challenge in front of you and find the challenge as an opportunity, commit towards it, and say, I'm going to solve the problem. And I think there's no better place still on earth rather than where we are all here. Doesn't matter which part of the North America we are sitting. We get people around us who will support us. And there are people around us always going to say, it is difficult. It's going to be challenging. It's going to require a lot of commitment. And I think what pretty much worked for us is, for me and my team, is we spent a good time in the utilities for long. We've seen the challenge in front of us, very, very vertically deep, how complex it is to really go and serve and even help any utility business process. And for us, looking that closely, the problem, and looking the problem very deep, we said, okay, we need to go ahead and help the utilities, because I'm a computer science engineer. So I can only do help through the software programming. So they said, okay, let's do that. Why we don't connect? Everybody's working towards helping utilities when you look from a hardware standpoint, when you look from a transmission standpoint, when you look on the operation standpoint, but nobody's connecting. The billions of people get connected to the utilities, get served every day. Nobody's thinking about connecting the world of people to the energy and water ecosystem. And we said, oh, good. We will start. Let's build the platform, which is going to be, at that time we used to call as a digital customer engagement. Now it's become the CX platform. And we said we will go together. We'll go and help customer to connect with the utilities. And we also want to make sure the utilities workforce also get very easy in their hand. Doesn't matter offline and online, the capability to perform the job. And I think the journey started, I can tell you, Jason, people laughed at me laughter on our team and saying, what are you trying to do? Customer is going to digitally connect with the utilities. Are you really? We've usually send a bill and everybody pay the bill is okay. And workforce already have so many tools, but more and more people tell you you're not going to be successful. That was a fuel, believe it or not. That was a passion. Good. If a lot of people saying it's complex, it's difficult, let's do it. And I think I feel very proud for the team, for the SCW and all our partners with all their help and all their commitment and the passion. We are in 22 countries with the hundreds of clients and touching 700 million people lives globally and keep growing, and it's a great fun, and the fun doesn't stop. And we just continue, we just having more team members coming. We're touching 1,000 people globally as a part of our team. It's fun. I cannot tell you. It's keep going up.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. So kind of going back to those early years, I think a lot of companies, especially those that are competing today, they're on that growth path. They're obviously accomplished, but there is a certain point, and even we experience this from that 20 to 100 range, where it feels like it takes a long time to get over those humps. Do you recall some of those early challenges? I think the problems at the size you're at now is very different from that size. Do you recall any one or two challenges or advice you have for startups in that trying to get to that next phase?
Yes, for Jason, I can share one with everybody. Is like all of us have our identification as a DNA. Every company have a DNA. Don't lose that passion. Don't lose that core DNA. As you add from 1 to 100 to 100 to 1,000, definitely you will have scalability issues. You will have challenge because new team members come. But if you have that same passion, same commitment, same focus, same discipline, what you started with, the new team members come, they will become pretty much part of the team. And I can tell you, I think this is one thing I've seen very common. Be humble. Don't think because when you cross 5 to 20 and 20 to 100 and 100 to 1,000, don't lose and don't get arrogant. Hey, we are doing this. We are big. Or we are a big company. Don't create bureaucracy between you and your teams. And I think and keep sharing with the team what made you where you are today. The team who's been with the part of the company, and I think that's a very important for us over the period of time. The core team members, it's just like a nucleus. They keep creating the same vibes, in the outer orbit when the team comes, and they all keep connecting. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a science student. I'm always going to give that analogy. It's like it truly works, and I think by the time you realize, you don't even know. From 5 you become 50, and 50 become 500, 500 become a 5,000. But you will keep connecting. I just always say, don't worry about scalability. Get core focus about your customer and your product. If you're a product company, if you're a service company, don't forget your first customer, and that one customer will make you and get you the second and third. Focus on your team and the customer together. We all of us get too much behind revenues, profitability, but don't forget about your team who made you what you are, because your product is your team, and your team product is being used by a customer, which is get supported.
Wow, that's fantastic advice. I really appreciate you sharing that. Kind of these last few minutes, I want to shift the focus a little bit to innovation in the utility space, and the importance of doing that in the context of what's some very difficult times. So why do you think it's important for utilities to keep innovating during these difficult times?
Jason, me and you always talk about that, pre-COVID, post-COVID, we all have the hashtag, we love our utilities, right? And there's a reason why we love our utility, because this is the only industry doesn't market what a great job they do. They give us and they serve the billions of people for the most important commodity, water, power, and gas. And we always talk about this. Can we live without water? Can we live without power? We all can live without Amazon. We can live without Apple and all, but we cannot live without water. We can innovate without power. So when we know that the most important commodity in our life, being 24/7, being given by these utilities, they have to innovate. And they really do a great job of doing operational excellence. They have such a great team. They continuously 24/7 work for us. This is our job as a partner of this industry to innovate with them and be very aggressive for this innovation. Because one thing we all know that as we go into the future, the demand of these resources only going to go up and up. Our infrastructure cannot manage at all. The today's need are already peaking up. When we look in the future, we will be adding, and I give this reference point, 2050, the population of the world will be touching 9.7 billion to 10 billion. We'll be adding 24% additional people on the same infrastructure. If we don't make it the people, the billion people, that's what our goal and mission as SCW. We want to connect 7.6 billion people to the energy border ecosystem. We want to empower them. We want to engage them. We want to educate them. Because if the consumer become intelligent and the customer becomes smart, if they have the all innovation available in their hand, we are 100% sure with our industry, with the energy and utilities and the customer, we can make sure they all will be supporting the sustainability goal, the reliability goal, the operational goal, and also I think innovation in this industry is today need and is very much needed, and we all need to work towards it. Otherwise, what we're talking today about the climate, we will be having the same issue next 5 years about our water resources, power resources. It's going to be a big challenge for all of us. So we need to keep innovating, for that.
Yeah, thank you. That's very well done, and it's great to see several of the startups joining in the chat there. Hello to all of you. So Deepak, last question, and I'll put this more from your technologist hat on. So as you grow and scale, like we see companies that obviously there's outliers. There's not everyone's Apple, Amazon, where you can do so many things at once. But for our startups out there, at a certain point, they do have to balance innovation, R&D, but then the commercialization aspect of it. What are some tips to balance that? That's a very delicate balance, especially with limited resources. So final thought there.
No, I think, Jason, I cannot tell you more than that. It's a very tempting, when what you build versus eventually after 2, 3 years, 4 years down the road, if you see the other things around, those are working better and the other people are able to sell more than you, and then other people are making more money than you, then you get deviate from what you do the best. So I suggest what worked for SCW is I can tell you in last 9 years, a lot of company came in and gone, and I'm sorry for that. I always give best of luck to everybody. Doesn't matter they are with us as our partner or they are trying to compete in same area. I have a great respect for every entrepreneur who start the company. But what I've seen, and which really I seen other people get in trouble, is they get too much excited about others and they forget about what made them the better. So in SCW, what works for us, we've been very focused from the day one. What we started with the customer experience platform and mobile workforce platform from a core, we become now the platform which started from core customer experience and mobile workforce from starting itself. We are the single integrated platform. And during this journey, a lot of people come and pretty much said, you should do only customer service or customer experience platform, not mobile workforce. But because we believed in from the day one, we knew that there is no way customer can disconnect from asset and asset can disconnect from the workforce. We need to build a platform which serve end-to-end utilities, workforce to the customer. And I think that worked a lot. So I will suggest everybody, whatever you determine to do to start with the company, definitely you can increase the capability of that product and service, but don't deviate too much left or right. Get focused, get discipline, and motivate yourself every day, because you should tell yourself, yes, what you build is best. Learn from the industry. If you see that they want some additional features, add that, but don't get deviated. And to your point, to scale, always scalability is always going to be challenging, but take those challenge and learn from those challenges and apply that to the product, irrespective of the innovation in the product or your delivery capability or support capability. And I can tell you very openly, in 2016, 17, and 18, ouch, I cannot tell you, we got stretched and stretched and stretched. And I think I give this credit to our team, our partners, and our clients who understood that, because as a company, we were trying to do the best. They all understood. We had a great relationship with them, and we came out pretty clean. And the result of that, we are in the 22 countries with 700 million people touching us, and we feel very proud about that on our teams. Sure. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Deepak, for joining us. Very, very insightful, and we appreciate the support there. SEW will be awarding one of the startups a prize that will be announced at the end of the day. So we appreciate the support and continue to champion innovation for Startup ETS. And with that, Aaron, I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everybody, and good luck, guys, for everybody. And Jason, just on the, I know that Aaron will be picking up from there, but anybody wants to reach out to me for any kind of connectivity, any help, definitely love to entertain that. Please take care, guys. Best of luck.
Thank you, Deepak.